Hey everybody, what's up? Today I want to use lovable.dev and build something that's super clean, focused, and hopefully we can integrate it with an open source AI model. I basically want to build a simple ChatGPT style interface where somebody can practice through conversation style, different scenarios in order to basically improve their skills in a foreign language. So it's some sort of MVP uh, into something that reminds of an app like Duolingo, let's say. So that's my initial idea. A clean chat interface, maybe 5 scenarios, and each of them are powered by an open source AI. And you basically adapt to different learning contexts through just a simple chatting experience. My goal is to use Lovable exclusively and build it completely using this one app. I really enjoy Lovable, and I feel like I can achieve this at least at a very interesting and satisfying level. I'm not sure if we can elevate the UI to the highest extent through Lovable because I'm gonna run out of credits. But I feel like we can nail the basic functionality and actually integrate a model that can respond. So the first step that I want to try is to basically use Lovable and not just jump straight into something that is going to be built like a UI component or a page being built. I just want to use the chat functionality, and I basically prepared the prompt where it explains what I want to build, which is a simple language learning application, the core concept that I just described, and what's the best approach for a simple component structure, scenario management, an AI integration, and a clean minimal UI. So I'm basically chatting with Lovable at the moment just to help the AI get some context on what I need to build. And we will also have some sort of recommendation from Lovable on what we need to do. So if I hit enter, as you can see, nothing is going to happen here probably. And Lovable is going to just reply to us and basically suggest what will be the next points, the component architecture, the state management, probably what kind of API integration we can do, and any UI and UX considerations. So a clean chat interface like ChatGPT, Claude, or a modern messaging app, this would be our style. Minimal distractions, conversation focused, exactly. Colors, professional, blue to purple gradient palette for trust. I actually don't like gradients, and the blue to purple gradient, I don't feel like it. I would prefer a more minimal, clean, maybe even monochromatic style, just to keep it very straight and simple, I would say. So I'm gonna click on chat, and I would say, although I love the overall idea and suggestions, first of all, colors. Let's stick to monochromatic, simple, black and white solution. Then for typography, clean readable fonts optimized for conversion. I would say let's choose sans serif. I want a very serious font. Google font for our typography. And layout, a standard chat container, clean sidebar. Yep, I like it. So let me build this beautiful design system and a clean component architecture. Let me create the core components and let me fix the icon importer. Okay, so there are some changes that are being made and some builds. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but we will probably have to do some changes right away, but that's okay. Let's give it a few seconds to see if it's gonna whip up some sort of specific preview here, and we'll be back. So here we are with a very simple preview that Lovable built. Here are some scenarios that we have, and here is basically our chat simulation for now. As I mentioned before, I really want to see a few changes here, especially when it comes to colors and stuff. Although I like how this looks at the moment in terms of colors, I would say that instead of staying here, let's take the monochromatic black and white solution. I will add for the core UI components, so the design system, but make sure you use pastel palettes for elements like chat bubble, state, management, etc. So I would like to have a very monochromatic and simple design system overall for my app, but I would like certain elements to have color just to distinct, let's say, the chat bubbles, which one is yours and which one is the AI's, etc., etc. So I will keep it on chat because I want this to just be some sort of knowledge for now. And then we will move on to the actual design mode where I will ask Lovable to basically refine what it built so far with the prompt that I prepared, where it's basically a more laid out version of what I want to see in the screen. But as a first concept of what I want to build, I feel like it's very close. But of course, we can do a lot of changes here. So it asked me to implement the plan. I would say that I can go ahead and do it since we're at a very early stage, and this maybe can give us a good foundation so that we can build the actual first draft that I want. So I removed the chat from being highlighted. I'm just going to click on implement the plan just to see a full-on color switch and design system update. The color palette has been successfully updated. I can see it in a lot of elements here. The pastel colors exist now, which is very cool. So I'm very satisfied with this simple design change that we did. So without further ado, I think it's now time to establish our visual identity, the simple, clean, and professional ChatGPT interface that we're looking for. So the prompt that I prepared is the following. It says, create a minimal, clean design system for LinguaLearn. That's how I'm going to name the app, a language learning chat application. So we need the ChatGPT style interface, professional but approachable, mobile first, responsive design, a minimal color palette. I will remove that since we are already working on the color palette stuff. Clean typography that supports multiple languages. That's very important for a translator app, for a language learning app. Core components, I want a simple header, a chat message bubbles, input field, a scenario selector, and clean loading states. Subtle shadows, consistent spacing, a professional color scheme, and smooth transitions. Make it a professional chat interface, not a complex learning platform. Think quality over quantity in design elements. Let's hit enter and see what the results are going to be. So here's the newest update to our application. As you can see, everything is now centered. I feel like the whole chatting experience is smooth. I love the pastel colors. Of course, the chat is still a simulation. So I feel like the familiarity with AI tools and the chat interface is here. We have a clear visual hierarchy. I'm not really a fan of this element, to be honest, because it looks kind of clunky. I don't know if there's a better word. I want to test the responsiveness, so I'm going to click on some other sizes here. Yeah, I feel like it's a very complete and responsive app as of right now. Of course, this element is fucked up, but we will fix it. So I want to see now, because the design system is here, in a way, it's established. So the context about what we need visually to look like is there. Let's focus on building the foundation now. So the next prompt that I want to add is the following. I just want to refine the page even more. So build LinguaLearn, the core structure, a single chat interface as it is, scenario-based conversations, mobile responsive layout, and what I basically want to see here is some state management now, a more responsive AI. It's basically the same as before. Maybe, wait, I'm looking at my notes. Maybe I'm looking at the same thing. I feel like I do. Yeah, because we have already mocked up data. My bad. Step 4. Okay, since the next step will be the AI integration, I feel like it's a nice time to do some sort of refinements to the look and feel of the app. So what I want to start with, to be honest, is this weird element here, which basically showcases the categories. So I want to ask Lovable to basically refine the UI of the categories component. In my eyes, what I don't like is the fact that it's very repetitive. I'm seeing the same thing twice. One as the basically banner which showcases which scenario we're in, and then a drop-down menu which basically shows the exact same thing. So what I want to describe is the following. I am seeing the same info twice. Banner area that showcases the current scenario, and drop down menu that also presents that current scenario. So let's find a solution where the category selection part of our app is more smooth, less repetitive, and easier to understand and use. I'm trying to think of ideas while I type on how I would want this to look like. Probably whenever you just pick a scenario, maybe instead of having this drop-down menu, everything can happen here, and maybe make this some sort of a hover over button where you can basically click and you have a drop-down of all your categories. So instead of having a drop-down menu, what if we make the main banner that shows the current category the drop-down menu? Think of subtle ways of achieving this UI update. In certain cases, I would also click on chat here and maybe discuss with Lovable a bit. I actually will do that just to see what kind of response I will get, what kind of suggestions. So maybe it's a good idea. So yeah, it's gonna read a couple of elements. I can see exactly what you mean. So your idea to merge this is spot on. Yeah, of course, sure. Banner displays the current scenario. Transform the banner itself into the drop-down trigger. Make the entire banner card clickable. Add subtle visual cues. Maintain the current visual hierarchy. Yep, this is exactly what I need. Let's implement the plan of restructuring this and basically adding a subtle chevron here that showcases that this is our actually category selection tool. So I'm gonna unclick the edit, I'm gonna unclick the chats, and I'm gonna click implement the plan. Here's our update. I feel like it's a step forward since our last iteration, but there are still some errors here. I wanna see if I can completely remove this chevron. I cannot grab this. Wait. Anyways, let's grab the whole div and let's ask for remove the duplicated chevron icon for once. And then I would say, let's see, what else annoys me here? I feel like I would love to see this chevron animate whenever we drop down or close the drop down menu. Animate the other chevron to respond to drop down menu being collapsed and opened, basically. Apart from that, we can maybe, what else can we do here to make it look better? We can probably align it on the left. In this case, align all text elements to the left, just to have a better balance in a way, I guess. And let's stick to that for now. Let's do a couple of minimal changes. Okay, so the unnecessary chevron was actually the one that was inside, because I see that the animated one is actually the one that I wanted to get rid of. So the next edit that I want to make is to basically say, I want to add, fuck my life, dude. Just grab this one, come on, dude. Anyways, ensure that the category selection element contains the chevron inside its frame. Also make sure that padding and margins are well defined and there are basically no elements floating outside frames, just like the chevron here. So now we got back to the double chevron thing. So I'm gonna go back to the chat and I wanna ask Lovable, how can we fix the duplicate chevron issue? Should we maybe refactor the whole category, picking components and recreate it in a way that each element functions properly. I feel like there's gonna be a back and forth if I keep insisting on removing the chevrons and stuff. So I wanna ask Lovable the best way to go about it. So I love the fact that it reads and examines the components, and I feel like we can have a better result than just sticking to us being like, please remove this, remove this, remove this. So given the current architecture issues, I recommend a complete refactor. I was pretty sure that we would need a refactoring. So replace the radix select with drop-down menu. Okay, so it was basically using some sort of a component from another language mixed with just simple SVG elements probably. I'm not really sure. But there is some style issue here. So I love the fact that I actually used the chat function because it gave us a chance to understand what was wrong. So let's go for a refactoring and we will probably see a fixed element in the next seconds. The refactoring worked perfectly because the drop-down menu is now operating and functioning perfectly as I wanted it to. We have all of our scenarios here, cool drop-down menu, cool hover-over effects. So the main function of the app is there. You can basically type out, no problem. As you can see, there are a couple of error states here that handling everything perfectly, at least so far, based on my tests. Let me see if this element is also responsive. It's pretty responsive on mobile. Maybe there's definitely room for refinement here. But the actual functionality is here. Nothing obstructs anything. So we're at a very nice stage where we can actually see and test if we can introduce an open source AI model that can handle language conversations, basically. The best way to find open source models that we can use is websites like Hugging Face. In my case, I feel like MetaLlama would be a good choice, and I feel like we can integrate it actually. It's a multilingual large language model, so I feel like it can handle multiple languages pretty well. We have a large model, so it's going to be efficient. The way to actually deploy this and integrate this is by, at least with Hugging Face, is by actually choosing a model that works and that supports inference. That's very, very important. So if we go to use this model and click on libraries and transformers, we're going to see, deploy actually, and inference providers. You will see that we are being greeted with three options here: Python, JavaScript, and CURL. In our case, I will grab the Python and the JavaScript one just to make sure that we have everything that we need in order for this to work. For Hugging Face, you need an account and you probably need to load up some credits in order for the models to run because they need tokens. Some of them are open source and free, so they might not charge you, but either way, it's good to have Hugging Face account so you can run all of these experiments. So I prepared a prompt, which is the following: enhance LinguaLearn with real AI integration using open source models. The first one that I wanted to try was called Merlin Mind, but as of now, I wasn't able to find this model supporting inference. So I'm not sure if it can be used. Let me know in the comments. But we will go with MetaLlama for now as a model, and I will also add the URL just to make sure. Implement scenario-specific AI personalities, add conversation context management, and create natural educational responses. So we need an API integration layer with a Hugging Face inference API, as I mentioned. We need a model that supports this. And what I want to do now, we have a couple of scenario personalities as well: the behavior and the flow, handle scenario switches gracefully, provide natural responses. So now what I want to do is also come here and basically copy the Python script for, let's see, should we get it from Hugging Face? So from Python to the Hugging Face hub, I'm going to copy this one first, and then I'm going to copy the other one for the JS for Hugging Face JS again. and I'm gonna drop them here just to make sure that I have everything. And before I do anything, let's discuss if this integration is possible. I'm gonna click chat just to see if this integration is actually possible, if Lovable requires some other info from me that I have to provide, etc., etc. So I'm gonna click on enter and see what the response is gonna be. So the good thing about chatting with Lovable is that it actually gives you a lot of insight. So the feasibility is high, and it gives me basically some insight. It says that we have the hiding face transformers library installed already, and I basically gave the newest and the most standard approach in order to integrate this. So we have the option one, which is the browser-based inference with the transformers package, which doesn't require an API and runs basically online through the transformers package. And the con is that we don't have a large language model, and it basically has to do with your hardware, how well it's going to perform, which I don't mind because it's an offline project, it's a test project. I would love to have the AI integration without me having to worry about my API key being exposed or having huge costs out of nowhere. So always be careful with your API keys, practice good API behavior. So I'm gonna choose the option one, but the option two would be an option that I would love to basically choose if I wanted to share this app and make it a thing and have people use it actually and have a cost, etc., etc. So the API-based inference would work with the hiding face inference functionality that I described and the featherless AI provider, which is probably just an AI provider that ties everything together, I guess. So I'm gonna go with the option number one. And I wanna see if I can go there and say, let's implement option number one. Is there anything else that you want me to provide to achieve this? And let's click on chat again. So Lovable requires the API token for me, which is okay. As I said before, it's gonna run offline, so there's no risks for you if you are not sharing the app with anybody. So what you have to do is basically create an account and generate this API token. And as you see, Lovable also asks me, are you comfortable with the token being shared in a local storage? This is a very standard approach. It's an offline thing. If you are not sharing this with anybody and it's in your local storage, it's okay. Would you like me to start with phase one? Okay, yeah. Let's give it a couple of seconds so that I can get my key, and I will just run it afterwards. So basically, in order to get a key, you have to go to your account on the top right and get to access tokens. As you can see, the keys are gonna appear here. The values are gonna be hidden, which is for safety. And I'm just gonna create a new token here and add this to my chat, and I will just implement the plan, and hopefully we can have a full AI integration after that. So although Lovable tells me that the AI integration has been completed, whenever I try to actually engage with a chatbot, I'm not really getting any answers, and instead I'm getting an error. Also, the important thing here is that if you click on settings now, our app basically lets you add your own API key so you can run it locally without having to worry about costs or your key being stolen, etc., etc. So you can always add your own specific key here. I know that I'm showcasing my key above, but I'm gonna delete it by the end of the video, so there's not gonna be any issue for me. So though I have it saved here, and although I'm trying to connect and talk, as you can see, there's an error message here at the bottom. So what I want to do is basically open this in a new tab here and inspect and open up the console. So I'm doing this because I want to see what the error message is and transfer this to Lovable. So I'm just going to type something in order to see. Okay. Let me add my API key again here. 1 second. Save settings. Amazing. Let's click hi. So as you can see, here are the errors that we're getting. Failed to perform the inference provider, is not enabled, So as you can see, there are a couple of errors that are happening now. What I want to do is copy the console and go back to Lovable and click on chat mode and say I'm having issues with the AI integration. Here are the console errors. Here's the first one. And let's go back here and grab the other two so that we can give Lovable an idea of what went wrong and how we can fix this, basically. So here's the other one, and let's copy the remaining final one. Just to make sure that I have everything, I might have copied 3 times, but I don't really care. I prefer to be certain. So let's give it a couple of seconds to think and troubleshoot this. I can see the exact issue. Let me analyze what's happening. So the hiding face API is automatically selecting the Novita provider. Okay, so the system is defaulting to auto. The solution, we need to explicitly specify a provider that is enabled for your account. Based on the initial requirements, you specifically mentioned using featherless. Okay, let's try and adding the correct provider. I feel like featherless is gonna work because it actually existed in the model as well here as a provider. So yeah, let's try this out. Let's implement the plan and let's see if this troubleshooting will actually help us have a working AI model here. So now Lovable says that it fixed the AI integration, and I'm already trying it out by just saying hi. And as you can see, the loading here is significant, which means that there is probably something going on, which is good, which I like, or probably this is just some error handling kind of thing. I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds just to see if there's gonna be a response. If not, I'm just gonna follow the same principle. Open this new tab, open up the console errors, see what's happening when I'm actually trying out functions, etc., etc. Unfortunately, the AI response trouble is persisting, which is okay. Let's say something like the trouble is still there. The AI integration does not work. Does it have to do with the model? Can you recommend a better model or / solution for that? Let's see if it's maybe a model issue, maybe an inference issue, or maybe just a coding issue. Let's examine the current console logs and network requests. Awesome. So even though there was a successful API call, the provider is still the same. That's weird. Let's see. Based on my analysis, I can see what's happening. The provider parameters. So alternative model, use a different model that has featherless AI. Okay. Direct API call, different hiding face model. So I would love to try a different model, to be honest. Maybe it has to do with the large model as well. So we have the Dialog GPT from Microsoft. I feel like this is gonna work, even just by the name. So I want to see if this has inference capabilities here. So it does with inference endpoints. So no, I don't want to do that. Let's see if we can use it with transformers. I think we can. Let me just grab this as a screenshot. And let me grab this as well. And let's see if we ask Lovable, will this model work? And see what it has to say. So this is actually a much better approach than what we are actually using. The Dialog GPT will work much better, no provider issues because it runs directly in the browser, no API rates, privacy friendly, faster responses. Okay, I trust you. Let's implement the plan and let's see if the model choice is going to be better for us. Okay, so we probably chose the wrong model again because it actually doesn't really support some of the functionalities. I don't feel like that's an issue. Let's see if the Zenova one exists. Whisper Tiny GPT 4.0. Whisper Tiny? No, I don't feel this is a good suggestion. I don't like this. I feel like I'm missing something here, but that's what I was doing it this whole time. Okay, let's see if we write dialogue. So, alternative we use Zenova GPT-2 or Hiding Faith JS GPT. Okay, this is interesting. Hiding Face model. Let's see. Hiding Face. No, this doesn't exist. Let's see. GPT-2. Oh, it does exist. That's weird. You can find all the original GPT checkpoints. Okay. I want to see if I just say, let's use the hiding face JS GPT-2. Make sure you examine our code and refactor all areas necessary in order for the AI integration to work properly. So I'm just not going to give it anything to see if this actually makes sense. I'm just going to make sure that the code would be refactored properly. So it's good that it reads our code base again. Let me check what other components and files might need to be updated. Let me search for the specific model. I really want to see if it exists because I'm kind of confused now, but that's okay. Let me search more specifically. Yeah, that's what I want, to see if there are any GPT-2 models that we can use with this hiding face library. Let me search more specific. GitHub repositories. I can now provide you with a comprehensive plan. Current issues, we have the wrong model, incorrect pipeline usage. We don't have error handling. So we need to replace our model for sure. We need to implement the proper conversation handling, fallback systems, enhanced prompt engineering. I agree. Restructure message formatting. Of course, we need to structure everything to work well with the new model. Enhance user experience. That's nice to add it, I guess. So we can maybe simplify that afterwards. But okay, it's okay to add this. If it's something that we need as a parameter for the model to work properly, I'm not opposed to it. After a little bit of research, I'm realizing that this suggestion won't work either, as you can see. So I feel like Google Gemma 3.4b IT is gonna work well. So I'm just gonna copy the link and I'm gonna ask Lovable, I want to use Gemma. Can you please integrate this properly and refactor all necessary areas? Based on my research, I feel like Google Gemma is gonna work. Am I gonna die on that hill? No, unless I see it work in our AI app here. So let's see what Lovable is gonna say about it. Perfect, I found exactly what we need. Let me now check for the specific ONNX version. So the specific model is not directly compatible. However, the excellent alternative, core model integration. I mean, I'm gonna trust you, Lovable. If you believe that this variation is gonna work, let's implement the plan and see if these alternative models are gonna help us out. So this alternative Gemma model has probably been integrated, but as you can see, the downloading process is not working. And we are also caught in another error where I try to explain with using Google's AI. I'm not really sure what the issue is at this point. I feel like now it's not an AI thing, but some sort of a code issue. So I would say something like, please examine this error and let me know what's going on for starters. Because if it's still a model issue, then there's no need to go further and troubleshoot this. But if this is just some bad code that can be fixed and the model can work properly, then I want to know about it. Okay, so the issue is actually RAM allocation. So what I want to do is do some research and see if there's a model with a way smaller, we're talking about megabytes here, as Lovable says. But I'm just not sure if these models exist in the way that Lovable types them out. So I'm just going to do a very small research to see what would be the best one to use and see if it finally will work properly. So I feel like the best option we have is to actually use inference and not actually download any model. So I want to grab this. I just made a quick search with ChatGPT. I want to grab this and put it inside Lovable. And I want to insist on let's utilize inference. I am not sure why we need the ONNX files, and if they are related to inference. So please let me know. I'm trying to understand why we are giving so much emphasis to this ONNX error when I was just talking about inference so far. So let's see what the hiccup is here. I feel like it's a very exciting process because I'm doing this in real time as well. I just had this idea. I didn't dive deeper into finding the best model possible because I was sure that there was gonna be some sort of an implementation issue. So chatting with Lovable, having a little research online always helps. So we are interested in switching to hiding faces inference. Yeah, that's what I said from the start. So what are the key differences? ONNX files and browser-based AI. So the ONNX files are open neural network exchange files and are required when you want to run AI models directly in the browser. So the inference is basically a client running this for us and then presenting it to us, I guess. Yeah, a cloud-based inference just sends the text and then we receive the response. Yes, that's what we need. We need this for sure. Let's implement the plan and I feel like we're gonna have a very positive outcome. Fingers crossed. I see that you want to implement the hiding face inference API. Since your project has Supabase, you need to activate the Lovable Supabase native integration list so that we can store your hiding face API key securely. Okay, I love this. I feel like we need to click this and connect to Supabase. Connect to Supabase. And let me do this real quick. I'm gonna connect with my GitHub. Now that we connected to Supabase, we're gonna have a place where we can manage our storage, which is basically our API keys now, and create a new project. Awesome. Let's name it LinguaLearn. And let me add a password and all of that, and I'll be back. Nice. So I created my database here, my file manager for LinguaLearn. So I'm going to go back to my project and I'm going to connect this now. I'm not sure why it's grayed out. Let me see here, Supabase not connected. Yep. Let me close this and open this again. That's weird. Let me take a look at this. Okay, I just had to reload the page basically. So now I can actually connect this to the correct project, LinguaLearn. My project is connected. So now the plan is going to be implemented properly. I'm very excited to see. Your app is now connected to Supabase. You can work now with a fully featured backend. Amazing. So let's implement the plan above. I'm gonna click this again so that it can take place. And let's hope for the best, actually. I'm very excited. So it now asks me to add the API key. As I said before, you get this from Hiding Face. I showed you the process. So I'm just gonna add this here. So I'm still having errors that I had to switch to MetaLlama again, because if we're using inference, it means that we are not required to handle anything locally when it comes to speed, RAM, etc., like before. But I'm still experiencing issues, so I asked Lovable if the actual chat functionality that we have is AI enhanced, or you're just working on those two things separately. So let's see the analysis. The AI chat edge function is consistently returning the 500 errors. Library version mismatch, potential API method incompatibility, model access issues. The chat functionality is properly implemented. However, the AI backend is failing. Okay, so update the latest library version. Okay, if it's a version issue, I will be very satisfied. Check if the current syntax works with a newer version. Okay, API method investigation. Okay, let's do all that. I really want to get to the bottom of this and see what will be the best option in terms of which model to get and what would be the best way to implement this. So let's see. It's a very exciting deep dive. So as you can see, we got some sort of response, which actually establishes that our AI model is working. So that's awesome. So it means that inference using JavaScript and basically putting here the inference provider on auto gives you a good result. So now, as you can see, the whole logic of the app is kind of weird because probably the initial prompt that the model currently has isn't that refined yet. But I want to see if I will try and basically reply to in Greek and say something. Can I see the menu, please? I know that we're in an Italian restaurant, but I just want to see what's happening if I'm just changing the language. Is it going to respond in a specific way? Is it just going to follow its own thing? Yeah, it's just basically continuing the conversation, which is okay. I feel like the good thing here is that it works. So I want to go back to the chat and be like, the AI integration works. Please also check. And now let's refine the prompt so that we can have a natural conversation going for each scenario. I also want the AI to analyze the user's responses so that each response can actually match the conversation and make sense. Let's see if that can give us some extra refinement where our model can operate in a way more certain way. I'm also not a very fan of this progress bar that appears, so I will ask Lovable to hide it probably. Yeah, I will ask Lovable to hide it for sure. So I'll first check the AI integration. Let's see if it actually works, or am I basically delusional? So the AI integration actually appears to be working, which is great. So poor context window management. So the current system prompts are basic. Response to the length restriction. Okay, respond naturally and helpfully in character. Add conversation flow guidelines. Improve context window. Dynamic response generation. Yep, I need all of that. So let's see if us implementing the plan can actually make everything work, or are we going to have some sort of hiccups because we are basically adjusting parameters now. Awesome. So the refinement definitely worked because now Marco, the waiter, when I ask him I want to practice my Italian and order in Italian, can you help me out? He says, of course, signore. We have a variety of delicious Italian dishes for you to choose from. So then I'm like, buongiorno, grazie mille. Can you recommend some popular dishes from your menu? Οπότε, so you can see, I'm starting to speak fucking 5 languages now. So you can see that it actually works, and with more refinement, it can go even further, I believe. So Marco replies with, certainly, our most popular dish is spaghetti carbonara, made with spaghetti, pancetta, blah, blah, blah. So let's see if we can say something like, can you suggest your top 3 dishes in Italian, please? Let's see if we can handle this sort of like request. That would be interesting to see. But I'm really happy with how it looks. For our pasta, I would also suggest the linguine alla vongole. I'm not sure if I'm not spelling this right. But as you can see, it actually did what I said. It literally said all of the Italian dishes in Italian. So this is actually sick. Let's try some sort of other chatbot here. Sophia, a local here. I love helping visitors explore our beautiful city. So let's try and speak Greek now and say something like I'm a traveler from Greece and I'm in the first time in Los Angeles, for example. So I'm going to type that out and see what the response is going to be. So what I typed out is I'm a traveler from Greece and it's the first time that I'm being in Los Angeles. Can you suggest 5 coffee shops in Greek, in English? So it feels like it doesn't really support Greek, which is funny. I guess it's some sort of restriction of the model. So let's try the same in English. I am a traveler from Greece and let's say it's my first time in Mexico City, actually. Let's see. Can you suggest the top 5 coffee spots in Spanish for me? Let's see if it can handle that. Okay, so I basically fucked it up now because it only in Greek. So we are definitely seeing some weak points that you can always come back and refine. That's why testing is important. But the fact that the AI model responds is a very nice step forward. So let's see if a fresh chat is actually going to give us a better response here, or is it going to still speak gibberish? Nice. So here are my top 5 coffee spots. So I feel like it only limits us here because of our rate limits or our character limits. But as you can see, it responded to our request. So I'm very happy with how it looks. Let's try something to end this video nicely. I prepared the last prompt for a final refinement design, which basically says polish LinguaLearn for a professional production-ready experience. Add smooth animations, loading states, indicators when the AI is thinking, smooth message animations, and general user experience improvements. So I want to see if this prompt can actually refine our app a little bit more and make it more good looking and well functioning. So let's hit enter and let's see if we can finish this video in a nice, sweet note. As you can now see, we're being greeted with a nice message first to give us an onboarding of what the app is and what we can do. And then it's just your natural app like it was before with some sort of fun changes, some sort of animations, as you can see, a way smoother experience visually. So I love everything about it. Let's see how the chat looks. We should definitely remove that. But as I said, this is for refinement. I love the new chat bubble. Everything looks perfect. So in an ideal scenario, yeah, okay, whatever. It's still a weird response, but as I said, you need refinement. So yeah, my point is the following. This app we can go so many ways. We can add a general category as well for like more quick, everyday questions about a language. We can definitely refine the model. We can train the model and make it more custom for sure. We can refine everything about the app, create a landing page for it, user management, user authentication, maybe add your own API key, your own models to use this app, etc., etc. So there are so many ways to go about it. And of course, we can use even more AI models to dive deeper, like Windsurf or any other code editor. So all in all, I would say that this was the final step of this approach to only using Lovable.dev as our tool in order to fully build an AI app that does what it says, at least with a couple of little refinements here and there. So yeah, I feel like we're done with the app. Let me zoom in and maximize my window now. So if you want to learn more about how to creatively use AI and establish it in your traditional workflows as a designer or a brand designer specifically, please book a discovery call with me below. I really want to meet every one of you guys. I'm new to this journey as well, and I really want to share my expertise with any brand designers out there that want to adopt AI to their current workflow and get paid and get noticed more. So please click the link in the bio and let's book a discovery call together. Let's have fun. Let's discuss. And please let me know if you want me to dive deeper into this specific app, use some sort of other AI editor like Windsurf to add more capabilities and make it even more powerful. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one.